Hello, everyone, and welcome to Parallel Conclusion Day 4 here on the Data Network. I am Andesian. Dr. Manhattan will be joining us late this evening. He is currently dealing with the usual uprisings on Mars. We're here. It's the last game of Day 4 and Week 1. Pick bands are in the books right now. And GAM versus DRX is shaping up to be a good one here. We are up to 101 unique champions picked or banned through the entirety of Worlds so far. We are seeing a heck of an interesting pick on the side of DRX. They have decided to put Piosic on Kindred Jungle. We'll see how that works out there for him as we get our spanners and stuff scrolling on the screen here. Again, I apologize. We don't have our producer with us today. He is off doing producery things, I imagine. I'm not sure what's going on with him, but hopefully he'll be joining us shortly. But we are loading in to the final game of Week 1 in the first round robin here. So far, so good on my pick'ems. I'm not saying that I'm going to cast or curse anything, but 100% pick ban rate so far today. I don't expect GAM to pull out a miracle upset against GRX here. But stranger things have happened at this tournament. That's like, our unofficial tagline of Worlds. We are going to be loading onto the Rift here. Again, reviewing the pick bands real quick here. We've got on the side of GAM Esports. I don't think they're GAM Esports, are they? I can't even remember these days. Either way, on the side of GAM, we've got Jax, we've got Graves, we've got Talia, we've got Kaisa, and we've got Leona from top to bottom. On the side of DRX, we've got an Ornn, Kindred, pick number 100, champion 101. We have a Zika on Silas. And we have a Tristana Rel bot lane. Now, as Dr. Manhattan would say, there's no how's your mother's, how's your father's quite yet out of the lane here. Everybody kind of just, playing a standard little bit of an open, but oh, wait a minute. Levy and Kiaya are here. Piosic and Levy are going at it. King and Piosic are there. Zika's here. County's here. Everybody's here. Ornn gets the first blood. Kindred is on 1 HP. This is already what a level 1 opener. Oh no, there's the re-engage from the Ornn. And he's going to knock everybody up in the air. Connie is trying to run away with his life. Throws out the worked ground, but Silas, Zika, it's a 3-1. It's 3-0 already. This is the epitome of predictions made moments before disaster. If you predicted GAM, I'm sorry, because that level 1 right there, that invade was disaster. And now Levi level 2, he's got the blue buff. Does he want to try? Is he going to try to contest something? He is. He's going right back, but he doesn't realize he's on a ward. Piosic's only level 1. Piosic knows he's in a little bit of trouble here. and Levi will force him away from his jungle. And he's going to take the chicken dinner. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Beryl and Death taking a little bit of a trade there. They're backing up. They're respecting GAM there. Levy, he took most of the chicken dinner. He left a couple of wigs and chitlins and stuff for Piosik. You know, not the not so great parts. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the replay on this level 1. They wait for all of the abilities to come out of GAM. Kingen goes in, gets the knockup. Piosik starts free hitting. Zika shows up, gets some chains in there. They're trying to chase Piosik, but he's burning potions and hitting every number on his keyboard to try to stay alive. Kingen goes back in with the knockup with Zika there. And that's it. That's all she wrote. They chase down Kadi here, as we already saw. He tries to throw down a little bit of damage, but it's just not enough. And it's a 3-0 there, with 2 of those kills going to Kingen and the other one going to Zika. And that is going to be a huge lead for Kingen over Kiaya in this topside lane here. With Talia being down, I keep saying Tiana like he's playing Kiana. I don't know why. With Kiana being down, I just said Kiana, didn't I? Wow. With Talia being down a kill, and Silas being up a kill in the mid lane, we've already seen the Dark Seal come out of Silas. He wants that 25 stack Mage Eyes. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it in this game, to be honest with you. GAM already very much on a back foot here. It is a 1,500 gold lead in the favor of DRX very early on here, only 5 minutes into the game. Looks like they're trying to set up something on the top side, but I think Levy realizes he's on a ward. He's on a ward again here. Zika knows it. He takes a little bit, and I mean very little bit of poke here, but it's a double setup on the side of DRX. They're content to sit here. They really want to dive Zika 3-on-1, and this is what happens. Flash over the wall, Zenith Blade stun, and the kill will go over to Kati. They really wanted to make that happen. It may not be a good thing. It may not be a good thing for GAM, however, that they're already in the 3v1 pick situation. But we're going to see some trading going on here. I apologize. My phone is going off. All right. So Style is trying to recall. He's not allowed to recall. He has to be here to get all of this CS that's under tower and try to stop Deft from, taking any further gold out of this lane. Unfortunately, this is a Tristana. What does Tristana do? Tristana sieges turrets, right? And as I get an annoying gnat right on my face there. The bot side of GAM, really under some fire here. Um, Barrel Zika, Barrel kind of roaming here. B Bay. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. You would think I would know how to pronounce these things by now after having watched him for a full week, but yeah, Style is kind of screwed here. He is so far back. He's got to respectfully stay under this tower here because he doesn't have a support to back him up. GAM is on the Scuttle Crab on the top side here. DRX want to fight over the Scuttle Crab, but it may not happen. Piosik pops his ultimate there to keep him alive. Otherwise, he almost gets bursted down by Levy. And DRX literally walk in and say, "Hey, thanks for the leash, buddy. We'll take that Shelly from you." So First Herald ends up going over to DRX here. They're trying to claw back any inch of a lead that they can, or any inch of deficit that they can here. It's still 13,900 gold to 15,300. So they're not doing too much. It's staying at about that 1,500 gold pace, give or take here, as we continue to watch this. Obviously, like I said before, the 3v1 kill did get set up in the mid lane. Kati still the only person on the Gigabyte Marines that has a kill. They only have one kill to their name. But DRX only have the 3 kills from the very early level 1. Both of these teams so far have been content to pressure lanes and shove lanes and pressure objectives. We do have an Infernal Drake available. Freaking mother Infernal Drakes. I needed it to be an Infernal Soul, but hey, you know what? I don't care about my prop bets anymore. If it wasn't, if they're down this bad at the end of week 1, they're probably not recovering. Is Deft? I guess Deft is kind of greeting for the turret here, but he's backed up. His jungler and his support are both here. Piosik is going to share one plate with Deft, or is it Deft sharing a plate with Piosik? Who knows? They're gonna share. Yeah, they're gonna share that gold. So Deft has not recalled yet in this lane. He's only got the Doran sword and a health potion. Immediately backs to base, buys his mythic outright, which is going to be the first MasterCard mythic of the game, and I actually get to freaking beat the broadcast to that for once. He'll buy the Kraken Slayer. He'll pick up a set of boots. He'll pick up a long sword. As the broadcast finally gets to first MasterCard Mythic. Thank you, MasterCard. And he gets a control ward. Because he does want to make sure that nobody can flank up on him wherever he goes, especially the farther down bot lane he goes, which seems to be what he's doing here. So, Dragon X finally send Piosik to go claim the dragon. They'll finally take the first dragon of this game at 12 minutes and 17 seconds. Ornn is in trouble. Throws out the Call of the Forge cod. DRX is just kinging. Goes in, autos to take, and then ends up taking a turret shot, which is enough to kill him. That is definitely hashtag outplayed or hashtag calculated. I don't know. Take your pick. We don't have the hashtag Generation Chovy in this game because there's no Gen G playing. Pretty well calculated though on the side of DRX. They pick up another kill on that turret dive. So Kindred has decided to opt into the Kraken Slayer as well. So lots of extra true damage on the side of this. Oh, there's the knock up. There's the dashes over the wall. That is a very, very dead Leona. Second kill onto the Zeka. 2 stacks now on the Dark Seal. Has not upgraded it to the Magi's quite yet. I would not be shocked if he does upgrade a Magi's second item. All right, so Frozen Heart coming out of Kingen here. Deft gets the smoke screen thrown onto him by Graves, and Deft's like, "Oh, you're blinding me. This is probably not good. I am just going to rocket jump the hell out of Dodge." All right. So, state of the game 15 minutes in. DRX 5 kills, GAM Esports 1 kill. It's DRX already got 2 turrets. I mean, it's about a 5K gold lead so far. 4K, 4.5, somewhere in that 4 to 5 range. 4 kindred marks for Piosic. He does take the second Rift Herald. Piosic is there. He wants the Gromp. Akadi is trying to deny him. Nothing. Everybody is going to reset. Meanwhile, Kingen is down on the bot side trying to defend that lane. Right now, tempo is very decidedly in favor of DRX here. GAM definitely, much as I hate to say it, GAM definitely is, one of those filler region teams here. I almost kind of wish that Loud, or wow, I said Loud, didn't I? Damn you, Nielsen. I kind of wish that Saigon Buffalo had gotten the first seed in Vietnam, so we could have seen them here at groups instead. I feel like they got a little bit of a bum end of a deal there in play-ins because they played amazingly. GAM already down the river and through the woods on top of the Ocean Drake here. They've even already started it. Here comes the Ornn ult, knocks 2 up. Barrel goes in with some knockups, even further engage coming out. Kindred throws down the ult, but it means nothing. And so far, it's 3 for 2. Silas gets a triple kill. Kiaya on top of Barrel. Tati is Kati's trying to find something. Okay, so far it's now even, and it ends up being It ends up being 4-for-3 in the side of DRX. GAM plays that fight so well, though. Let's take a look at the replay. You can see Barrel. Barrel is ready to just jump in and make things happen. Orn ult goes down and gets the knock up onto Jax and Talia. Talia immediately goes golden when Barrel comes in with the engage. Further knockup comes in. Kindred ult goes down, which starts keeping a lot of people alive. He gets forced out of his ultimate, dies instantly, and oh, Levi steals the Ocean Drake, but he will get stole. He will get shut down himself. All right, so DRX now on to the tier 2 mid tower here, marching up the mid lane. No dancing Shelly. We're not that crazy far ahead in this game. Honestly, GAM played that river team fight really well. If you're GAM, you've got to be sitting there in comms saying, "Look, we can win these team fights. Yes, they're ahead of us, but we played that well." You need to regroup, and at this point, if you're GAM, I think you're 100% looking for a Baron. So Leona screws up the CC combo there and drops the ult late, I believe, on Barrel, which allows Barrel to get out of there, and they're not able to just pull their CC lockdown combo onto Barrel, because I mean, you got to look at the side of GAM. They have a lot of CC they can lock down somebody with here. You've got the Jax AoE stun. You have a Talia knockup. You have Graves, the nearsightedness on the smoke screen. Leona is literally a CC machine with root stuns, ultimate stun. So So a little bit of a lull state here right now. GAM, I think, are not sure what they want to do. They got 2 minutes until the Mountain Soul here. Mountain Drake is up today. 6,000 gold lead here on the side of DRX. You know, the typical benchmark for a runaway game is about 10K. So we're getting very close to that. Although, if you look at statistics here, 10 kills to 4 towers to nothing. DRX already on top of this Baron, right? Information gained from the Kaisa. They do know that they're on the Baron, but it's in smite range and it's dead. That's it. Baron is shown to be dead. Levi is too far up. There's the knockups. The Barrel CC tries to come up a little bit too early and he gets bursted down. The Leona gets another AoE stun. And so far, DRX are being a little bit too greedy as they go it's 2 for nothing. Okay, there's a little bit of a stun action here. Zeke is here. He teleports in. And now he's going to turn this fight around, as it wasn't DRX that got greedy. It's GAM that got greedy. Triple kill for Silas. A 3 versus 5, and that's it. That's the game. GAM should have taken the 2 kills that they got and just recalled. But no, Zika has to teleport right back into the middle of the fight and clean up all of the low HP members of GAM. And that's it. Wow. What a misplay on the side of GAM. What an outplay on the side of Zika. Zeka manages to get the Baron empowered recall off early on in that fight because he knows he's at low HP. He comes back full HP, having spent the gold from the Baron. And at this point, yes, GAM have picked up 2 members of DRX, but they're also very low health bars on that GAM side. And Zika just shows up, teleports in, immediately drops an Everfrost, gets a root onto one, and from there, that's it. That's all she wrote. The Silas is too mobile. Silas is literally just walked in and said, "I'm Silas. I drink and I know things, bitches. Konnichiwa, bitches. Say hi to your base for me." Like, I'm utterly shocked at how GAM through that fight. They had to have known that Zeka had channeled the recall and had teleport available. How do you not know that that's a thing, right? Like, I'm utterly shocked there. So, taking a look at the post game graph here, 47K even gold, 37.8, so almost a 10K gold lead for DRX. 7 towers, 1 Baron, 15, 6, and 28 Team KDA for DRX. It was just, again, that last team fight could have gone in the direction of GAM if they realized, hey, we got 2, let's back off, get under their tower and reset. And no, they wanted to keep the team fight going, which I don't understand why. They keep the team fight going, and Zeka just showed up, did Silas things, and in like literally the blink of an eye, this game is over. But that's going to be the last game of 2020 of 2022. No, it's going to be the last game of week 1 here in 2020. Blah, blah. I'm going to redo that as I don't know what the hell I'm saying here. That is the last game of week 1 of Worlds 2022. 101 champions through all of play-ins and the first week of Worlds. This is definitely one of the more enjoyable metas, I think, that I've seen in Worlds. Early on, yeah, we saw a bit of a dominance, but those are also play-in teams, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword. But I think it is very safe to say that none of these week 1 games have been boring to watch at all. So we're going to take a quick break here and we will be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to more Parallel Convergence here on the Not a Network Podcast Network. I believe we may have a Dr. Manhattan with us finally.
What is this song? Because I need this.
This is Proto-Shredinoid, sir.
I
Back
know.
when they played good back when they played good, this was our original League to the Max intro.
You realize we never heard. You realize we never heard this much of it? At least I didn't.
Yeah, we never really let the whole thing play out. Back when they played good music between the games at Worlds.
Well, I mean, when you blow more of your budget on getting some different badassery for the theme song, yeah, the rest has to fall to the wayside.
Yes, that was Proto-Shredinoid's Temple of the Sun.
All right, and got it added to Spotify.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the standings now that the first round robin and week 1 has settled. First of all, I'm not saying that I had a 100% day, but I mean, I am saying that you probably should have bet on Rogue.
Look, Caster Curse. I wanted to go with Rogue.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Thank you. Those two words will explain.
I mean, predictions made moments before disaster. Yeah, I get it. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of predictions made moments before disaster, we'll go to statements that will not hold up well under scrutiny. The first one I want to go to is North American mid laners talking shit. Specifically, one Mr. Body by Jensen. I can't wait to clap Faker. Well, guess what, North America? You're getting your ass cheeks clapped 0-9. Worst
First of
start.
All, I'm sorry. You mean this? Oh. In the words of Ron Popeil, but wait, there's more. You mean this Body by Jensen? You mean, I don't know, the one that you were sitting and waiting and producing things and all of that Body by Jensen? Hell, I'll even give you credit and throw on all the ones that I just mentioned onto the count.
I mean, we don't have an over-under on that, so...
No, we don't. But yeah.
I mean, NA is getting demolished like Faker is demolishing Ryu on Zed. NA, look at the cleanse, look at the moves. What the hell happened week 1?
Speaking of over-unders.
Look, we'll get... If there is one thing we do well at this network, it is shtick, because we have nothing to shtick but shtick itself. Man, I'm glad I have the producer here finally. I can produce things, but man, it's hard to hit buttons and talk at the same time.
Needless to say, there's a potentially long story for Sunday.
Interesting question mark? Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about that off air. But
yes, we will.
Yeah. What in the absolute motherfucking hell happened to A in week 1? Like,
But and they always play shit in week 1.
This
Oh,
is beyond plays shit.
I mean, wasn't that whole 5 and 13 group stage part of that infamous 4-year cycle?
So, I want to go and like I said, I want to take a look at standings. So I'm going to get standings up on the screen here. At the end of week 1, as yes, they have been updated. Excellent. All right, give me a moment here. As I get my screen working here. There we go. All right. So at the end of week 1, let's go ahead and pull this full screen here. There we go. All right. So in Group A, actually, there we go. Let me move some stuff around here. Here we go. All right.
Basically, it's
in Group A,
Circle of Death, and everybody's beating Cloud9.
I expected Fnatic to shit the bed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, North America has shit the bed. I feel like we are getting payback for defacing the bald eagle in play-ins.
Sounds pretty accurate.
I almost feel like this is like some voodoo curse witchery bullshit right now.
I've already dealt with enough voodoo witch cursory bullshit in the past week. I don't need any more of this, especially in the middle of spooky season.
So, in our group standings predictions, so far, I am winning with 2 correct in Group A. T1 is in first and EDG is in third. And they usually do sort these by who wins head-to-head tiebreakers and whatnot. Usually. Group B, JDG undefeated. DAM1 Kia 2-1. G2 1-2. Evil Geniuses shitting the bed. I think JDG are going to fall flat next week. That is going to be Friday. So they're playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Yeah.
Double checking, but I do believe you are correct. Yes. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Broadcast starting at 3 p.m. Eastern to help with tiebreaker potential.
Yeah, so I believe on Friday, DAM1 Kia will come out of that group in first place. I still keep my faith in that. Okay, we're going to cut away from this to a moment because they're talking about something very interesting on broadcast.
Uh-oh.
I mentioned earlier in this game, we are finally up to 101 picks left. Or picked, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means we officially have 60 champions left.
Yes.
That have not been picked. Right?
Just completely uncontested, yes.
Yes, completely uncontested. I'm looking at the graph here. I was able to get a quick screenshot of it off of the broadcast feed. We're not allowed to put it on air, otherwise we get yelled at by Riot. At least not until tomorrow. I'm looking at this list, and I'll be honest with you. I don't know how many champions left on this list of 60 we might see come out of this tournament. I see a couple of them that could work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I feel like at this point we're looking for pocket picks on these champions. Notable picks or notable champions on this uncontested list, right? We still have the Yasuo. We did see a Yasuo get played at groups in the bot lane or at Worlds in the bot lane last year. I expect that to come off the table by the end of the tournament. Udyr, I do not believe will be allowed in the tournament. Last I heard, he's still banned. They did show him on broadcast for whatever reason. I haven't heard them officially say Udyr is disabled, so I could be wrong. They usually do make it very clear when a champion gets disabled. So again, I could be totally wrong here. Kiana, still a thing. That could happen. I'm looking at this list here. We could see a return to Karthus jungle. We have seen Annie mid at Worlds before. I don't think we're going to get to all 161 champions. I think if we're lucky, maybe we see another 5, 6 at most, and those will probably be pocket picks or respect bans. But that's where we're at.
So basically, we're getting to more of that realistic cap.
Yeah. We're finally hitting the glass ceiling. Which I never thought I would say we would hit a glass ceiling for champion presence at Worlds.
There's an incredibly timely and wonderful joke that I could make, but I ain't gonna.
Is this like a point of viewer joke or?
No.
You can't tease me with the joke and not make a joke.
Oh man, all of this with all these champions and breaking glass ceilings. Gee, if only Team Siren were here to see this.
Oof. Oof. So, back to our standings.
You're the one that was like, "Oh, I can't tease."
Yeah, no. I walked right into that one. I opened the door. Doors said do not open, and I opened it anyways. Trust me. So, in Group C, we have a very surprisingly undefeated Rogue. DRX a 2-1. Top Esports, who was a tournament favorite. I don't think you can continue to consider them a tournament favorite with how poorly Jackie Love has been playing.
I mean, Jackie Love has pretty much made Top Esports mid.
You know what?
I mean, I didn't even intend to, but it's perfect.
Well, Mid Esports is in third place here. If they keep going at the pace that they're going, they might end up as Bot Esports. Or worse, they'll rename to Supermassive and they'll be Soup Esports.
You cleaned that up so well. I had to make that a 1-for-1.
I have my moments. I drink and I know things. If that isn't a fucking Chiron by the end of this fucking tournament, I don't know what will be. All right, Group D. Let's get it out of the way here. RNG, to nobody's fucking surprise, 3-0. Gen G 2-1. Kind of is surprising. I expected Gen G to upset RNG. I predicted Gen G to upset RNG. Why the hell hasn't Gen G upset RNG yet?
I mean, if you look at, those standings predictions, I'm the closest with Group D.
I mean, Flying Oyster showed up. They got a win, which is better than North America.
Yeah.
North America is really making a fucking case for being demoted to a minor region team.
I mean, at this point, they have to finish the tournament 5-4, at least finishing groups 5-4 to tie their worst ever group's performance.
I'm really hoping that these North American teams pull it out of their ass. Whatever it is, it's crammed up there. Because if they don't, I'm going to shove a cactus up their ass. And rotate thoroughly.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the fine folks
while giving them the Hank Hill treatment.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the fine folks at Point of View can start recommending some different things that you would need to make that happen, because I'd prepare for that if I were you. Maybe we see another incident of a 1.6% chance, but that was a 1.6% chance for a reason.
I think that, I don't even think, I know this is very disappointing to North America as a region. These are supposed to be our three best teams, right?
Yep.
And even the team that has, that performs well from behind, always comes through clutch as the last great hope of North America in Cloud9. We're 0-9 as a region.
Yeah, all that the last great hope has become not even the last great hype.
No, the last great hope has become the first terrible disappointment. Number one seed, more like number one disappointment.
Remember how we said that we definitely need to change things up? Not just at Worlds with the format, but as a region as well? Especially when I gave you my idea for a best of 3 phase of the tournament. If I'm NA and if I'm Riot, I wouldn't even consider this just an aberration. I'm like, what do we need to fix right now?
Oh no, I'm completely 100% in agreement with you. And I'm going to tell you where part of it starts at. Shorter seasons.
Yeah.
Why shorter seasons, you ask? Because, and this goes across the globe. This is not just for North America, but it's going to benefit North America. I think possibly the most. Shorter seasons allow these teams to have their boot camps.
Yep.
Because we have talked about this before, like about a year ago, right after Worlds, right? Where when you look at the schedule of a top performing major region team, realistically speaking, the only time these teams get off is legitimately the off season. And even then, a lot of these teams, the players don't get off until like they get a month in December, maybe, and that's it.
Yeah, for like, holiday season and stuff.
Yeah. And even then, if you get invited to All Stars, if they ever bring that back,
I don't think they will, me personally.
But you have, what is it, a 16-week season? 18-week season? Sounds about right.
Yeah, I want to say, depending on the region, 18.
So the LCS summer season started on June 17th and ended August 14th.
So June. So that's about 12
5,
weeks.
6, 7, 8, 9,
Wait.
10.
No, that's not 12. That's closer to 3 months, and that was 2 months. Yeah, that's only about 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. I looked it up here. So yeah, it's 8 weeks, and then there's the championship, which runs from the 20th through, which ran from August 20th through September 11th. Yeah, 9/11.
So that's 3 weeks.
So you're looking at,
if you include that gap in between, that's 12 weeks.
All right, so you got a 12-week season, right? And then World started what? When did World start this year? Let me pull up
September 29th.
Right, and you're going to be doing boot camping and, well, maybe not boot camping, but you're definitely going to be doing practice and stuff like that.
So that was a 2.5 week gap between the end of summer split and the beginning of Worlds.
Yeah. Maybe you get 1 or 2 days off in that gap, but that's it. But we got a 12 week or a 12 season, or 12 week summer season, right? Spring season looks like the exact same way. 12 weeks. And then you have MSI for top teams.
Mm-hmm.
The spring playoffs were 424. MSI started 5-10.
So again,
and that was in South Korea. So there's a week of travel time automatically because the teams have to get there early. They're required by Riot.
So 2.5 weeks. And really a week and a half because of the travel time.
Yeah. And you've been going the whole time. So 5/29 was when MSI ended. And then we said when whatchamacallit. We said when spring splits or summer splits picked up, yeah.
Yeah, that was the 17th, June 17th. So again, call that, well, so 29, 30, 30. So almost 3 weeks. Almost.
The point that I'm getting at here is top performing teams in regions do not get the opportunity to boot camp. They can't. It used to be, and it happened a lot in the wintertime, especially. These teams would go over to Korea for like literally a month, right? And all they would do is just play solo queue.
So
and they would try to set up scrims with various orgs in Korea, but there's no time to do that. And I think that's why some of these regions are just, they fall so short, because it's like, well, how can they get international experience if we're not giving them the time for it?
So correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going by the numbers that we just went. So you start with your 12-week spring season, then about 2.5 weeks off, and then MSI was what, 3 weeks?
Yeah, we'll call it a month because most international tournaments are a month.
So 4 weeks. So already,
and then so we'll add on a half a week just for travel.
So that's 19 weeks right there before we even get to summer split.
Yep.
So,
and then you get another 12-week. You got another 12-week split.
So that's 31. So you had 19 weeks before summer split. You do summer split, that's 31 weeks. Then
again,
you have
top performing team, and
right.
Yeah, we're being generous on North America because top 6 teams out of 8 go to the whatchamacallit, go to playoffs.
Right. So,
or sorry, top 6 out of 10, but yeah.
So 31 weeks for your top performing teams. Then you're looking at another. Yeah, so you're looking at another.
That world. If you're in the play-ins, Worlds is 7 to 8 weeks for you.
So 2.5 weeks travel,
because you're traveling a week ahead of time to get to the destination for play-ins. You've got to play the 2 weeks of play-ins, or the week and a half, or whatever it is. Because play-ins is pretty much like, what is it, 6-day broadcast week, 5-6 day broadcast week.
Yes.
And then you have the rest of the Worlds tournament to go through. Okay, if you get knocked out in groups or quarterfinals, all right, sure, you're leaving early, but you're still, it's going to be a couple of days of travel time for you, even if you're in North America, because literally the only way a team would get a home field advantage is if it was located, like, say, for example, for North America, it has to be at the Staples Center, right? Like that's
Right.
Los Angeles. That's literally the backyard of all North American LCS organizations.
So,
For LEC, it's Berlin, Germany, because that's where
right,
the LEC studios are. That's where most of those orgs have their team houses, right?
right. So
For
doing this,
Korea, I believe it's Busan is where LOL Park is.
well, my point. Doing the math, even if you get knocked out early, you are still looking at 38 weeks stem to stern. If you make a deeper run, you're talking 40. That leaves.
And let's not forget the fact that, technically speaking, Riot's year doesn't end until mid-November, usually second week in November.
So,
Because the global contract database is always updated on free agency day, which typically I believe is the second Monday of November.
so we're talking what, 42 weeks up to that point?
Just about, yeah.
So that's 10 weeks. If you make a deep run at Worlds, 10 weeks. If you don't, you're talking 12. No, this brings up two things. Number one, you can forget All-Star coming back.
Oh, if you get All Stars, which is like November, December, yeah, go ahead and eliminate that 12 weeks, knock them down to like 6, maybe
Okay,
8.
so three things. Number one, you can forget about All-Star.
Because
You're
right now,
not.
All Stars seems to be announced.
Oh, Jesus. As I keep reiterating, you can pretty much forget it. Riot, if you're listening, that's going to have to give temporarily. Number two, you're going to have to shorten Worlds. Time-wise, if you want any sort of legitimacy and top players to All-Stars, Worlds has got to be shorter. If you follow my idea, you can cut that down. I mentioned that in embodied form on Point of Viewer on Sunday. I presented multiple things. You can get your similar broadcast days, but you can make it much easier. As a matter of fact, well, you would have roughly the exact same number of broadcast days if you include the expanded broadcast week. No, if you even include the expanded broadcast week for plans, I would only take away 2 broadcast days if you followed my main idea. 2. Shorter tournament, more rest, more likelihood for extra downtime in players at All-Stars. And number 3, with your idea, shorter seasons. Realistically, the maximum any split should go from when it starts to when you have your split champion, 10 weeks. You can do an entire tournament in 10 weeks. Right there, you shorten splits, you shorten worlds, that's 5 weeks gained right there.
Yeah, like I said, they really need to figure out something as far as shortening or giving players more time to be able to travel internationally to gain practice, because it's not, a lot of these orgs have done this cost benefit on this, years ago, right? And they pretty much figured out, look, it's not worth it to go and boot camp somewhere else. We can pull this off the screen here. We're done talking about statistics or standings. It is not worth the cost and the travel and everything if we can't get at least a month's practice out of it.
Right.
Like, that seems to be the sweet spot, is a 1 month boot camp.
If you follow our suggestions, you can get in that 1 month boot camp. Shorten each split by 2 weeks, shorten worlds by a week. I mean, honestly, for Riot, I would maybe look at that. Realistically, 2024. I don't know about 2023, as you said, but if they have to do it the specific way, at least revamp everything. You get a better draw, you get better competition, and players get more time.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Again, I think that's part of the problem, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's the be all end all. I'm just saying, hey, this is a starting point. This will help.
Because, Riot tried to make this work, right? They introduced Rift Rivals, which was it was a cross-regional thing, basically. Related regions were put against each other, and top performing teams are invited to a tournament against the other region's top teams. Thankfully, so yeah, Rift Rivals usually happened. I'm trying to think. I'm going to go back to the 2019 one because that was the last one ever. Thankfully, that's something that the pandemic killed that's staying dead. That was held June 27th through 29th. That was a 1 weekend thing. It was for the Rift Rivals for 2019. They put the LCS against the LEC. Of course, they did. They put Korea, China, and Taiwan, Japan against each other. And
so they basically went for the memes.
Yeah, they went for the memes. The whole thing was a meme tournament.
Yeah, I'm fine with the meme tournament staying dead.
Yeah, the whole thing honestly was a meme tournament. Of course, there's no page for this. All right, so the inaugural one was in 2017. They had EU versus NA. They had China, Korea, and Taiwan in a group. They had Brazil, Latin America North, and Latin America South. Before that, those regions got merged. Then they had Japan, Oceania, and Southeast Asia. And then they had Russia, Turkey.
Huh.
Or CIS Turkey. Pretty meme tournament.
Yeah. Oh, in so many ways.
I mean, it helped because it was good for the minor regions, right? Because it got minor regions and non-NAEU international level playtime and coverage, right? So, like, you got the English fans engaging with a 1907 Fenerbahce or a Supermassive or a Detonation Focus Me or a Gigabyte Marines. Or, in Latin America, Red Canids and Isurus were the big names back then. Right? Like, the minor teams did get a little bit of a buff from that. At least for fan engagement. But I think Rift Rivals were trying to solve the problem of, hey, we need more international tournament play, but that was not the way to do it. And I think, circling back to the topic that got us started here, things like Rift Rivals are not going to help NA get out of being 0-9 in groups. Long ass fucking seasons are not going to help North America be not 0-9 coming out of week 1 of groups, right? North America needs the practice, and they need the practice against non-North American teams. And you can't get that because of the geography, right? You could try to play EU, but the ping's going to be ridiculous. There is no Champions Queue in NA. The Champions Queue is only in NA.
I was going to say...
They have it travel for Worlds, but it's only in NA.
I was going to say, with something like that, for something like that, you would have thought that they would at least have, if not, okay, this exact thing for Champions Queue on a global level or for different regions, something similar? What you have idea or that I recognize your idea face? Or
MSI. You take that big ass, fat ass asterisk that you put on RNG and you make that the solution. And I know I've lost you, so I'm going to explain. Remember how Riot introduced artificial ping?
Yeah,
because RNG had to play from home. So in order to make it an even playing field, Riot introduced artificial ping onto the Tournament Realm servers.
Yeah, I knew what you were talking about. I was just...
You need to expand Champions Queue to a global audience, introduce a standardized ping, because I'm sure somebody could figure out a way to make it happen. If they could make it happen for groups, they can make it happen on a global scale. I know that the technology is there and it's possible.
Of course, especially
you'll have to locate the server centrally to, the world, literally, in some data center where everybody can, be able to get those, be able to meet artificial ping benchmark, right?
I mean,
even if it's not strict, right? I know at Worlds it needs to be strict for competitive integrity reasons. Like 50 milliseconds is 50 fucking milliseconds. Just like betting on Bovada. 21 means 21, god damn it. But please gamble responsibly. If you need help, as always, it's on the screen. 50 milliseconds does not need to be 50 milliseconds on the dot. God damn it. But it does need to at least try to be close to make it fair and to make it competitive.
When you're talking about with these distances, as you said yourself, you identified the hubs: Busan, Berlin, LA. Find where your central hubs are for these regions and be like, okay, where is the geometric mean, the geometric center within all of these? find something maybe within, I don't know, a few miles of that geometric center and make that work.
Yeah. Now, in order for this to happen,
how it is,
in order for this to happen, you have to get buy-in from every region, right? And you're going to have to do it like North America, where you can't just invite pro players only, otherwise your queue times are going to be insane. You're going to have to invite probably grandmaster players, retired professionals, people that are in that region known to be good at the game.
Right.
Because first and foremost, it's champions queue, right? It's in the name, champions, right? These the players that play on this tournament realm, because that's effectively what it's going to be. It's going to effectively be a tournament realm. It's not open to the public. They need to have the caliber of play necessary so that it is an engaging and worthy opponent or teammate for the rest of for the other 9 players in that lobby, right? Like all 10 players, regardless of where they're coming from in the world, need to be on some sort of close to professional footing. Now, granted, there's going to be a huge gap between a challenger level player from Australia versus a challenger level player from Korea or grandmaster, whatever the hell we're calling it these days, right? I'm pretty sure we're still calling it challenger. Like the quality of player, rank 1 challenger in Australia is going to not be as good as rank 1 challenger in Korea. But rank 1 challenger in Australia should be able to more than easily still be able to go toe to toe with rank 1 Korea.
Right.
And that's the point that I'm getting at. It's the parity, right? You have to have even parity there. That, I think, is going to be the bigger problem and probably why Riot won't try to tackle it, because parity and balancing in League of Legends as a whole has always been traditionally difficult for Riot, much less trying to balance an entire different set of parity for professional play servers.
Not to mention, as you said yourself and you mentioned when we talked about statistics and with viewership, who drives the views and who, in one way or another, makes Riot the money?
Eastern regions.
Follow that trail. That's who they're going to more cater to.
Right now, I would say Eastern regions and EU's kind of on an uptick.
Exactly. I mean, you mentioned yourself the comparisons about, viewership at Worlds being down so much because of losing the Asian viewership because of the time zones.
Yeah, a lot of them are forced to watch the rebroadcasts, and they're not watching live.
So, yeah, that's going to be another issue if you do try to globalize this, which, inevitable, hey, there are 24, 25 different time zones at minimum on the planet Earth. We've all got to get used to it one way or another. But I guess, how big of a problem does Riot really want to take on? And I don't see this, and I'm sure you don't, as a gigantic problem, but a medium-sized one.
This is a problem that Riot has probably internally sat down and discussed. They've looked at the feasibility like we are, probably gone even deeper, to be honest.
Oh, of course.
And said, yeah, no, LCS is losing us money as is. We're not doing this. We can't afford it, and it's going to be too much of a pain in the ass because somebody's going to fucking complain about balancing and queue times and this, that, and the other.
Right.
But it would be, and I think it's something that if Riot wants to continue to have League of Legends professional play to grow and not get completely dominated by Eastern teams and lose the Western market audience, because that is what's going to happen if Western teams continue to shit the bed like they are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, why the fuck should I watch Worlds? Why the fuck should I watch LCS?
You're not wrong at all.
Because that's the other thing, is it's not going to just affect international viewership. It's going to affect domestic viewership.
Confidence is going to be at a nadir.
Because, yeah, exactly. Because think about it. If you're seeing who's supposed to be the number one team in your region absolutely shit the bed at international competition, and you're supposed to be considered a major region, and right now you're a major laughing stock, you're not going to want to watch Worlds, right? Especially when historically you don't perform well anyways. You're not going to want to watch, and you're not going to want to watch the domestics because it's like, well, why the hell do I care who's going to win NA when they're all crap, and when it comes to international play, everybody chokes.
Yeah, you're not going to want to watch Worlds. You're not going to want to watch domestic. You already struggle to watch MSI at times.
I mean, MSI has always been regarded as the inferior tournament, as much as I hate to say it.
No, you're not wrong. And I'm even putting it on that level because it's like, as you said, and as I just said, people are struggling to watch MSI as is right now. Especially for NA. This continues, MSI in this part of the world would be dead.
I mean, I honestly think we are getting very close to an implosion in Western League of Legends.
And if that happens,
I think you kind of already see it in some of the minor regions, right? This is why I give Brazilian fans so much credit, because despite Brazil's performance every year at Worlds, and the fact that they're a minor region, they're forced to play through play and so on and so forth, they have a very engaged fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Like, their fans are as dedicated or possibly more so than some of the Eastern fan bases. And more, I think you're seeing that out of the Western regions as well, where it's Western fans are gravitating more and more towards rooting for Eastern teams and Eastern players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. NA shit the bed as always. But hey, at least there's Faker.
Yep. And honestly, I'm going to say this. If this continues and we see that implosion, it's a classic Monday morning, 9 a.m. Riot needs to have a meeting right then and there. No matter how long it takes, bit by bit, you're going through every problem you've got. And we're like, okay, how do we make sure something like this not never happens again, but would be damn near impossible to happen again?
I agree,
Redo formats, redo seasons. Everything we've talked
formats,
about
redo
should be
seasons, redo seeding, for redo worlds qualification. Like, yeah, because we're honestly at a point where it's more than just we got outplayed, we got outdrafted.
yeah.
Because you know what happens when you get in traditional sports, when you get outplayed and outdrafted, you start riding the bench, or you start getting forced to sit down and watch more film. And I think that's also part of the problem. Actually, to be honest with you, I think that's a huge problem that NA has. A lot of players come over to NA because we hand out 7-figure contracts to washed up, I don't want to say washed up has-beens, but fuck it. You give me statements that don't hold up under scrutiny, but in fact really do. We pay 7-figure dollar amounts to import washed up former champions or people that are supposed to be the next, big Korean player or just player in general. We give them these 7-figure salaries on top of the North American culture of League of Legends, which, let's be honest, is, I don't want to say rife with complacency, but I don't really have a better way to describe it. Right?
I think I have a perfect analogy for this.
Yes, we do see that these teams work and then work hard, but their work ethic and play ethic isn't anywhere near these Korean teams. Like, Korean players are on a whole nother level. Like, we've heard the stories of players like Peanut, like Faker, like I don't know, name any iconic SKT player who was on a championship roster for them, where they were playing for 18 hours a day, just grinding solo queue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, so research and science and stuff, which is something that North America is trying to lead in, sure, is showing that, okay, maybe 18 hours of day of straight grinding isn't entirely the best, but we can't just sit here, have a 45-minute scrim, and then the rest of the day is, okay, we're doing yoga, you're going to go see the sports psychologist and, talk about the, whatever's on your mind. And then after that, you're going to get a massage in the team house spa or the team facility spa. And then after that, you got some merch deal or whatever. Like, it's complacent.
Like I said, this is the perfect analogy. What NA is doing with the League of Legends is the exact same thing that Major League Soccer has done for quite a while. Handing out the big contracts to players not at their peak internationally to come over. Hence, MLS getting a long time kind of a vibe and feeling from other players globally as a retirement league. Having a different style of season, doing all this, not having a lot of grassroots, making it not accessible and harder to where you don't have to put into a lot of the work. You don't want to put in a lot of the work. You don't need to put in a lot of the work. You can't put in a lot of the work. A combination of all of those things. Major League Soccer literally took damn near a decade of that to pull their head out of their ass and say, okay, things have to change. They've made incremental changes, but they're starting to see some fruits here on this side of the world. In the next decade, there may be more. Who knows? Riot cannot afford to wait that long, especially when they can implement things on not just an NA level, but for everything faster.
Well, the way I figure it is look at where we're at. Look at where we're at with only 10 years into the LCS. This is the first decade.
Yeah.
And we're already considered a retirement league, like you said.
Yeah. So again, this is the watershed moment. And to think, this is the first decade. For that decade of MLS being considered a retirement league, they had about a decade to a decade and a half to even get to the point where they would start to be considered a retirement league. I mean, as much as I have joked about Commissioner Don Garber for many, many years, I gotta hand it to him. That little while after contraction and everything else, he realized we want to be taken seriously on a global stage. We even have to be noticed first. They did that. Then, all right, we're noticed, but in a bad way. Now we have to do this. Riot with NA and League of Legends bypassed the first part. We were noticed.
They made the first part really fucking easy. And this is I have to put a Chiron up here because it's beyond only appropriate at this point.
Okay.
I have to find it first. Where the hell is it? One moment, please. Is it under? No, it's not there. Not there. Is it in?
That's what she said?
Yeah, here it is. I'm not a salty fan whatsoever. Oh, yeah, I'm big salty. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm not big salty. I'm big mad at one thing that the LCS did that a lot of other regions ended up doing, but franchising. Other regions franchised and managed to keep the work ethic there, right?
Of course.
But you honestly, you know what I want to see come back more than anything? What I think NA needs is to boot up its ass to fucking get shit done. Relegation tournament. The relegations need to come back. Because these teams, it just adds to the complacency knowing, oh, well, it doesn't really matter how bad we do. You know, Riot barely gives us any fucking money anyways, raking all of our money off of fucking, other games and merchandise sales. Doesn't really matter how well we place. Yeah, we want the championship, obviously, but, I have the perfect analogy for this. Thank you, William Shatner. As you know, I got to ask William Shatner last year in 2021 at Dragon Con a question about his time and experience on Show Me the Money, which is a game show that he produced. And he asked me, he said, do you know why Show Me the Money really got canceled? I gave out a couple of ideas and, things I knew about the show as what I thought were, reasons for its cancellation. But he said that the show was missing something. And the LCS, I believe, is missing the same thing that Show Me the Money was. Do you know what that is?
Honestly, not off the top of my head. I'm thinking
a Jeopardy mechanic. On Show Me the Money, much like with the LCS and pretty much every franchised league in league right nowadays, there is no opportunity for the contestant to end up in jeopardy where they risk losing everything they have. Yes, there was the mechanics where if you got a question wrong, they took that much away from your bank or whatever. But there was never the opportunity to lose everything and go home right then and there. There was no Wheel of Fortune bankrupt space. There was no pressure luck whammy. There was no Joker devil. There was no. You get where I'm going with this, right?
I do. Nothing that's like, hey, this is an inherent risk and it's not guaranteed. I get you.
That's the problem with the LCS. There is. I'm sorry, give me just a second. I'll be right back.
But I mean, you're absolutely right, though. There is no inherent risk. And going back to the analogy of MLS, the first thing that everyone mentions when about fixing Major League Soccer and soccer in this part of the world is promotion and relegation. That's the number one thing. It's like, oh, you add promotion and relegation. Yeah, you're going to have a dogfight in the second division. If you have a shit year or you run shit, you're going to have to build up. And in a lot of ways, I do agree with that. I don't think franchising always works.
It's not working for League of Legends.
No.
Riot wants their franchising money, and it's not happening, right?
And honestly, even with a lot of these franchises, you know why they work when others don't? Look at the franchises that they are tied to. The etymology of that company will seep into those teams. It's, I know you're doing this, but this is how we run things in general. Even to those like LEC or in Turkey with your sports teams. People recognize them. They know the names, even if some of them are difficult to pronounce. There's a lot riding on those teams because they have to live up to those names. I don't get that feeling whatsoever from LCS. What names are you really living up to? Maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but
no, I completely 100% concurrently agree with you here. The problem, I think, is, like I said, the same problem that William Shatner described to me as the problem with Show Me the Money. There was no Jeopardy mechanic. There was no instant peril. There was no, if you fuck up bad enough, you're going home. And that's the problem in North America, right? These players, they can fuck up year over year over year over year, and it finally takes 5, 6 years, 7 years before they don't even get fired. It's more of a, oh, hey, we managed to get a better somebody we think is a better player from you, so we're not renewing your contract.
Thank you. You beat me to the punch.
When in reality, you're pulling on somebody worse and you're getting rid of your best player, which we've seen a few times now. It's part of the reason why Double Lift's gone. It's part of the reason why Sneaky's gone. Some of the best AD carries of all time. It's the reason why Jensen didn't have a team for a half of a year. Highly regarded. Yeah, okay, his performance at Worlds hasn't been showing it, sure. but highly regarded as one of the best mid laners in North American history, ends up not on a team?
I mean, honestly, you can not only look at that, but you can look at Cloud9 this year as a microcosm. Need we go back to the times when Church
The Church
was in
of
session?
LS? Yeah,
Yes.
no, that's another problem. That's another, thing that happened. Again, you're not wrong.
Because it was another thing of, it's the American way or no way. Or, if
But
the
you have
American...
somebody who has years of casting
Yes.
and analyzing professionally on the English LCK broadcast
Yes.
these games, right? I kind of feel bad for Papa Smithy here, because Papa Smithy was another caster that came over from Korea and ended up going to 100 Thieves. And I'm kind of wondering what happened there, right? Because yeah, Papa Smithy's the GM for 100 Thieves, but where is that Korean work ethic? Why haven't you implemented that into the team, especially being a GM?
Yeah. This is the thing. It's the American way or no way. And when the American way doesn't work, it's like, oh, well, we're going to have to do this, this, and that. And this is another thing that I hope isn't overcorrected. You can have hybrids of things because people will still recognize, oh, it's NA, oh, it's the US. You mostly get the same, but with their own flair. Just like you have a European flair, a Korean flair, a Chinese flair, Oceania, etc., etc. We're in a reckoning right now where our way is currently proving shit, and it's going to be a hard correct into a carbon copy of another country's way. And that's not necessarily the answer either.
And I agree. Like, changes need to be made, and they have to start at the fundamental level, like the basic building block level of how you approach the game. And I think NA have gotten so far off base from that to the point where it doesn't actually, like, NA has lost the meaning of what it is to play true professional League of Legends.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Decepticon Willie. Good to see you, man. I know things fell apart with the old GTA server. I haven't done that in a long time, but I do. I've been following League of Legends stuff for a long time now. I've turned it into a podcast, and this is the World Championship coverage. So welcome. But yeah, no, I think the problem that North America has, as far as the teams and everything, is we're a retirement league. Everybody sees us as a retirement league, right? Yeah, we're trying to home grow talent. We have scouting grounds, sure, but we don't have that passion and work ethic for the game that is needed, honestly. And then, like I said, when you have these professional organizations that just sit around and it's okay, here's your 1 hour of scrim time, and now the rest of your day is filled with bullshit that really doesn't matter. I mean, okay, yes, mental health is important. Yeah, there should be a time to talk to a shrink, but
Keep the sports psychologist have either yoga or massage, but not both.
yeah. Like, they can have the sports psychologist, they can have the trainers to make sure that the guys are not busting up their wrists and everything. Because I mean, we saw what happened with High, right? High was notorious for having wrist injuries. He retired because of wrist injuries. But I think NA is kind of like Beverly Hills, right? Which is ironic because, I believe some of these orgs are based in Beverly Hills.
That's a problem in of itself.
You want that prestige and luxury of being able to say, oh, hey, yeah, look at me. I'm a professional League of Legends esports player, right? I'm a pro player. I'm a pro org. Look at me, daddy. I'm a big boy. But you're not playing at a level where you're respected by everybody else.
You're basically a pro organ name only.
Yeah. You get to go around flashing daddy's wallet because that's what it's like for a lot of these orgs that are being backed by traditional sports organizations. But you're not showing anything for it. NA cares too much about, advertising and merchandising and revenue generation than actual results. Because they're like, well, even if we come in, in a suboptimal position, because I'm sure that's what somebody in the back office probably calls it. They don't say, oh, well, if we come in last, it's okay. We still sold $30 million of jerseys. Because I'm sorry, have you seen the cost on some of these jerseys?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're shitting the bed 0-9 at Worlds. Our fucking Worlds jerseys are sold out. That cost $100 a piece because there are special Worlds jerseys.
And how long is that going to really last?
Not too much longer. Definitely not too much longer.
Because number one, general economic factors. You got lucky that so many people would be able to buy World's jerseys. If that even is the case, I don't know the actual numbers, but yeah, you'll get lucky if you have that this year. Try next year with everything going on in general. Number two, with everybody pinching pennies and everything else, you gotta be damn high priority and worth it to take up any sort of disposable income. And sorry, this is the US. We got a lot of other shit that people will gladly spend money on.
Agreed. With the economy going in the direction that it's been going for the past year now, yeah, no. Everything's getting more expensive, and being able to support esports teams is going to be one of those things that go, especially with how traditionally high esports stuff costs on average.
Yep.
So if you're North America, I don't care how well you do, right? Even if let's say, to steal the, Papa Smithy, because we were just talking about him a moment ago, to steal his old, classic line, right? In a world where North America wins worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Steal his "in a world where" catchphrase for a moment. Even in a world where North America wins or even just gets to finals, right? Let's say, they make that deep ass fucking run in this, and everybody will start to say, "Oh, that was a fluke. Week 1 Worlds was a fluke." I don't think it is. I think you still have to sit down after the tournament, regardless of where you place, even if you do win, right? Congratulations, go celebrate the win, have fun, get yourself some bitches, try not to catch the clap, right?
Wrap it up tight.
But I think that Monday morning, when you get back from traveling, or when you get back to the office, because, they're already going to be in Los Angeles, you have to sit down and say, okay, why did we fuck up so bad to begin with? Why did we put ourselves in such a bad situation where we had to play like fucking Faker at his prime in order to get ourselves out of the rut we were in? Right? Like, because right now, A literally has to play Faker, look at the cleanse, look at the moves, Faker, what was that? Level of fucking outplay in order to have a shot at the remainder of this tournament. Look at me, I'm making a non-ironic Faker versus Ryu reference. That's where we're at in this tournament, where I can legitimately make an unironic Faker versus Ryu mention.
But again, how are you wrong? As I said, NA as a region has to go 5-4 just to tie their worst ever performance in groups.
I think you're not wrong. I think we are going to see a 1.6% chance scenario again this year. I mean, we should be getting the dots sometime in the next week, I imagine, is probably when the guy is going to create it and update it. I'm keeping an eye on the GitHub where the guy creates and stores the stuff, so I would be surprised if by Thursday it is released.
I'm going to be blatantly honest. Starting with Fnatic, who has their own axe to grind. Starting there, and they are... Wait, why am I... Okay. They're 2-1. Starting there. Then, okay, EDG, fine. And then, as you said, that's your last game of the day. You gotta climb that mountain just to potentially force tiebreakers and get that 1.6% chance?
Yeah.
I don't know. Color me a pessimist. I don't see it. Hold on.
I know, you're absolutely right. That's the thing. Like, I don't think that North America has anything in the tank, right? If they had something in the tank, we would have seen it by now. That's the way I figure it. They came to Worlds completely out of gas because gas costs too damn high right now. And they're like, fuck this shit. We can't afford to fill up. At least that's what the hell it feels like.
You're not wrong.
But I think at the end of the day, you really, if you're North America, you down at the table and say, look, this complacency has to end. We have to completely reevaluate how we look at this game from absolute ground up. We need to stop playing paying players high six, low seven figure dollar amounts and contracts when they're not worth that amount of money.
You know what
we
scares?
need to implement jeopardy into these situations, or into these leagues and into these players and into these teams, where it's like, hey, guess what? You underperformed. You're riding the bench. I think part of the problem, which is something that I think Riot really can fix, and it wouldn't be a problem for them to do so, because I don't see where it honestly violates competitive integrity. Every team is allowed to field a 20-man roster.
Okay.
I mean, we're kind of there already with the expansion of the amateur leagues and your tier 2 and your tier 3 teams.
Yeah, because you figure 20, that gives you.
Because as is, right? As
Yeah.
is, at least in North America, your main roster can be interchanged with members of your tier 2 roster, of your academy team. You can sub academy players onto your main roster as long as you send the appropriate main roster people down to the academy.
Mm-hmm.
On a week in, week out basis. Effectively, we're kind of already at a 12-man roster.
So that gives you.
I'm saying, hear me out here. I'm saying 20-man roster on the main team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your academy team and you can do it like football. You can have a practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
And you can move the people around. If somebody's practice squad eligible, they could come onto the main roster and so on and so forth. But you keep you keep the minor teams separate. You keep the minor rosters separate, right?
Yeah.
If you're really that pinched in an emergency, yeah, release the guy off the minor roster and sign him into a contract on the main roster. But that should be reserved and restricted by Riot for the most emergency of circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm.
But 20-man main roster. Obviously, the game doesn't change. You can only field 5 people, but
Yeah, so you're
no
basically
more than 5 imports.
among
So
the
you're
20.
among the 20. So you up the 3 out of 5 to a 5 out of 20. And maybe 20 is a little bit high, but
And this is what I was trying to say. 20 means you're going 4 deep pretty much at every position.
yeah,
I would say 15.
I could 15 could work. I think 15 maybe a
Because
little bit more
again,
reasonable. But my point
15.
is you create a depth chart for your positions, right?
Yep.
You get that capability where you can even, do special teams kind of shit in football, right? It's like, okay, I'm in a game 5 and my back's up against the wall. I'm sending in these 5 guys because I know that's the squad that's going to get me this dub.
Yes. Now, I'll tweak kind of your idea. You have your academy team separate. You do the 20-man full roster, but when I say full roster, you have 15 that are available for games and a practice squad of 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I could legitimately see that. It's like you can't go play for another team. You're full-time practice squad, but you're going to get a contract. You're going to be paid, and you're going to be treated like players from the rest of the roster, like the players on the rest of the roster. But I think that one change alone, right? If you allow more players to be a part of a team, you change the game entirely. Because right now, let's look at, I'm just going to use Cloud9 as an example, right? Jensen's having a bad series, a bad game, a bad day, right? Teams only have one substitute. And that substitute usually is only good for one lane. Maybe he can, hold his own if he's off-rolled, but there's only one sub, right? And I believe Cloud9's sub, I don't even know who Cloud9's sub is currently, to be honest with you. I'm going to find out.
Yeah, one is way too few.
But let's see, Cloud9's roster.
Now, what you could do.
I don't even know who Cloud9 substitute. I don't even know if Cloud9 has a sub. No, they have to have a sub. What the heck is Cloud9's sub?
What you could do. What you could do is if you have these rosters, like these expanded, 15 person roster and in the practice squad, it's like, all right, you go through the performance, you say, all right, we have this as our roster for groups. These are our 15 that are available. You still take your 20. Do like you do in baseball. Say, all right, this is our roster for groups. And like in baseball, they have rosters for every different
Sven
knockout
is
round.
Their sub. Who is a jungler? Okay. Sorry, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't hear anything you just said because I was in research phase because I have an idea and I don't want to lose it.
Well, my brief idea, similar to baseball for international tournaments. You have your rosters, but you were allowed to change your roster at the beginning of every round. Groups, quarters, semis, finals, but that's it. You have your flexibility, but these are my best 15 for groups in my practice squad. All right, this was shit, but we made it. These are my best 15 to draw from for quarters, semis, final, like that.
Oh, my thing is if you're going to have the practice squad, all 5 people, that's it. Their practice squad. They don't get to move on to the main roster. Their practice squad tagged. That's it. That's all they are. They don't get to lose that tag. Because if you do that, then you're really just saying, here's a 20-man roster, but we're calling it 15 in a practice squad.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well,
no, but my point is, hear me out here because I really don't want to lose this train of thought. And you know me about losing trains of thought. Let's say Jensen is having a shitty game, right? In the current layout, like the current format of how Riot does things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Jensen's doing horrible, they could say, hey, Sven, go play mid. Right? And pull Jensen out of the game. But more than likely, that's going to hurt Cloud9 more than they're already hurting. But if you expand how many players are allowed on a team and you put a depth chart behind each role, these guys have to fight for their jobs. Just like in football, just like in soccer, just like any other, just like in hockey, right?
When you're done, I have an idea.
You want to be on that identity line, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Jensen has a bad day, let's say they have High, right? Okay, yeah, High doesn't play anymore, but I'm just using this as an example, right? They say, all right, Jensen, you're out. High, let's go. They submit to the referee before the, next game starts. Hey, we're making a substitution. And, that those rules won't change. It's just instead of having 6 players on a team, you go to 15. And to keep competitive integrity fair, you keep it to 5 imports. You know, the residency rules, all that shit still applies. But instead of 3 out of, 6, you get 5 out of 15.
5 out of 15? And I'm revising my idea.
And I'll even go one further and say that you cannot field all 5 of your import players on the team on the playing roster or on the starting roster at the same time.
Max
you can't
of
draw.
2.
You say what?
Max of 2.
Yeah, just like it is now. Max of 2.
And to get, because I see where you were going with my idea, but I'm going to revise it. So for your splits, you have your 20-man roster, 15 on the main, and 5 on the practice squad. And if you specifically for your main tournaments, practice squad doesn't really travel. So basically, out of those 15, but of those 15, say like you dress quote unquote 10. Like in hockey, you have like, a 30-man roster, but for every single game, you dress 20. You have a 15-player roster, 5 on the practice squad, and then you can change as much as you want, like on a week-to-week or game-to-game basis. But like within that certain time, like you dress, say, 10. So that way, even those other 5, if they're pulled into a situation, it's like, okay, I know against this team you have best experience. You've been scrimming well internally. You're going to be on the 10-man roster for this game or for this week of groups, etc., etc. Something like that.
So screw the 20-man idea. We do a 15-man, and
15
out of those 15 men,
yeah, 15 and
10 are slated as active every week come game time.
Yes.
That could work. Because at the end of the day, circling back to the main point that started this whole topic, is players have to fight for their jobs. They can't just sit there and be like, oh, well, what the hell are they going to do if I keep playing like shit?
Yeah.
They don't renew my contract, but I have a 3-year fucking contract.
Mm-hmm.
Or, whatever the case may be. Okay, maybe they try to trade me and get rid of me early, but, in the immediate term, I'm making money. And a lot of these pro players have gotten smart, have financial advisors and shit now. They're not blowing their money like they did 5 years ago.
Exactly. If you have that sort of an element, and then you can keep, your academy the same way. For an academy, all right, say a 10-man roster for academy at max, but you only dress like, say, so many. That way you can have a good academy, and don't go too deep into like, oh, a B team and an academy and this and that. Cut some of the bloat.
I would the rules I would put on academy teams, I would keep systems the way they are. Actually,
okay.
I would keep a tier 2 and a tier 3 team.
Okay.
The tier 2 team, say you have 15% or say you have 15 players, right?
Yeah.
No more than 20% of the players on your academy team. Actually, no, I'll be a little bit more generous. I'll say 30. Because what's 30 at? What's 30% of 15?
4.5.
Okay, so we'll say 4 players. Fuck it, we'll say 5. Why not? 1 for each position.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll even lock it and specifically say 1 for each position. But no more than 1 player in each position can be a veteran, tenured, former professional player. Import restrictions don't matter.
Okay.
But you can't stack your academy team full of retired pros.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you can hire, these pros to play on your team. So, you get, veteran shot callers on your academy team teaching your new guys how to shot call, how to play, how to keep the game together. But I like how NA is finally embracing the position coach thing. That's where these retired players really need to be going.
I concur entirely.
And your C team, your full-on amateurs are exactly that. Full-on amateurs. No, I wouldn't say no cap, but maybe 20 players there. That's very low stakes. League of Legends. Again, I would put, no more than 5 tenured players. And I will say tenured players as a player who has played more than two years or more. So 4 splits or more in a tier 1 league.
Point system.
What do you mean point system?
Ball hockey. Yes, ball hockey. They have a league here, the National Ball Hockey League. Depending on what tier you are, tier 1, which is a top tier, 2 or 3, they go by a point system for players based on how good they are and how much experience they have, including ice hockey as well. The more tenured you are, and the more recently you are tenured, you count for a higher number of points than your traditional players. Your entire roster must be under a certain number of points.
I see that getting very complicated very quickly.
It's
I also
complicated.
see that as somebody gaming a system.
It's complicated, but with registration and everything, it's easier to keep track of. Because with the way, if you have it just simply with tenure and everything else, you can exploit some loopholes. With this one, it's like there's no loophole. And if you lie on your registration, then you're done.
Well, they can't lie on the registration because it'll be double checked, or it'll be backed by Riot's global contract database, which keeps track of everybody that's ever been signed to a contract regardless of the region.
Hold on. I'm looking something up.
If a player is listed in the global contract database and they have played or they have been rostered on a team for 4 splits or more in the global contract database as a player, not as a coach, because coaches are in the global contract database as well. I believe some owners and management are now as well. But if you are rostered as a player, right, in the global contract database for 4 splits or more, it doesn't have to be consecutive, but for 4 splits or more, which is 2 years experience, then you're a professional player. That should disqualify you from being in the dirt amateur league.
When you get a chance, you can look at that and see what I mean. I sent it in our private chat. That gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. Again, it doesn't have to be super like that, but it strengthens something of like your idea. I think you have a very good base. But we will talk about that, and definitely we can discuss that during our downtime going into week 2, because I think we're
Yeah,
both on to something.
Yeah, I kind of want to circle back around to predictions and whatnot here. Let me go ahead and move stuff around here. Okay. So today we did pretty damn good on predictions, or at least I did. 100% brings me up to, thank God, over 50%. I don't think it actually, that might be, I think that's probably my second worst week on record. So I want to say I had a 53% week one year. But ending week 1 at 58%, yeah, it's not shark territory, but you know what? I'll take it. I will fucking take it. After that fucking day 2, I will take it. So I'm going to do a thing real quick because I realize we have the space on the sheet to do it. Where did that standings thing go? Here we go. Quick tweaks and bam. So where we are at the end of Group A, I got T1 right. Actually, I like that teal for a tie. Or should we put it yellow? We'll put it yellow.
Yellow, because I do the conventional. By the way, that 58%, believe it or not, in Vegas, that would indeed be sharp territory. If you're a sharp, you're usually hitting about 55. Between 55, 60%, and people question you.
So Fnatic I got outright wrong, and C9 I got outright wrong. For Group B, Dam 1 is in yellow. JDG, or no, sorry, that one has a that is a flat out 1-4. There is no tie in that group. So we got those wrong. We got the whole group wrong, actually. In Group C, I got the whole group. Actually, no, sorry, I got GAM Esports right. That's it. And then in Group D, I got the whole group wrong. Oh, so week 1 group standings predictions don't look so good.
Nope.
I'll let you do yours. As I continue to talk about predictions here.
Let's see here. So Group A.
Group A has the 3-way tie for first, a 2-1, and Cloud9 is last. So you're the same as me because you predicted the same way I did in that group. Oh, actually, no, sorry. You predicted EDG last. That's right. No, you were right. It's all red. You were right. It's all red.
So, yeah, this is going to be, well, so for this one.
Damn one right. That's green.
And then
JDG's wrong. And G2's wrong.
Yeah, because I'm flipping back to the standings as I do this.
Oh, I can tell you. DRX is wrong. Actually, your whole group is wrong. You can just drag and go the whole red. It's like I did. Group D, you got RNG and Genji right. If you had flipped 100 Thieves and CFO, you would have had a perfect group.
Yeah.
Oh, you did better than I did. I got the tie going on in Group A, and then one right in Group C, but you got 3 right overall, and then part of the tie in Group A. So I think overall you're doing better than I am on week 1 overall.
Yeah, you're 1-13-2. I am 3-12-1.
And this is why I have you around, because you can do the math for me.
Yeah. So you're looking at 12.5%. I am looking at 18.75%.
So going into week 2, right? That's my patented keys to the game here. Let me find the button. There's too many buttons. Of course, there's too many buttons. So we're gonna be starting off with, looks like group. Yeah, they're going in order: A, B, C, D. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they'd randomize it up like they used to.
Well,
because if you're in Group D, if you end up getting in Group D, you have the most time off between week 1 and week 2, which gives you more time to film.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I wish they went back to randomizing the second week what group played what day. That way it wasn't guaranteed, because this is the second year in a row they've done it where they just did A, B, C, D. If I'm a team at the tournament, if I'm like some GM or owner at the tournament, you better believe I'm fucking complaining to Riot about that, though. Personally.
Absolutely. Again, they can go ahead and change.
Like, for all I care, let them fucking draw it out of a bowl like they love to do. I'm serious. They love to do that so much. Let them fucking draw it out of the bowl when they do the group draw show. It's like, all right, week 2 play order. Group C. Group A. Group B. And Group D. Or something like that, right? That way people at least know it's random and they can't complain. But looking at Group A, which is, again, currently, 3-way tie for first, and Cloud9 bottom feeding 0-3. Let's look at some scenarios, because I know you're capable of doing the math here. Let's say Cloud9 are able to pull out the reverse sweep and pull out 3-3, right? that puts the rest of the field at least 3-2. I'm already going to trip myself up over this math.
Oh, okay. So you've got everybody else going 1-1, if I heard you right.
At least, yeah, because everybody else has got to play. It's the second round robin, so so there's another 3 games that get tacked on here. So at the very least, somebody is going to go. At the very least, every team goes. If it's 3-3, and everybody else somehow randomly goes 2-1 or 1-2 in this group, we get the 4-way 3-3 again.
Yay! Ooh.
Which I don't know. Here's the thing. It's possible. Like, I'm not saying it's like probable, but this is a group where I could actually see that scenario happening.
So basically,
like it did last year.
So basically, that would require Cloud9 winning out, and you have a circle of death.
Yes, I could 100% see Fnatic choking in week 2. Edward Gaming will cause chaos, and T1. I'm not surprised they're playing on the first day of the second week. I'm not surprised if they choke there.
What kind of infused hopium are you on? And is there a place where I can get some in my near vicinity? Because I hear the words. I hear the words. I see them coming out of your mouth. I hear them going through my ears. But my brain is like, what are you doing? What is Andesian saying? What? No. Where? Did I accidentally leave a clone of him on Europa or somewhere? No, does not compute.
I didn't realize I snuck out. I didn't realize I snuck copium out of Europa for him.
Oh, dear sweet.
I think that's the scenario that Cloud9 kind of want to hope for here, though, is the 4-way tiebreaker.
Well, yeah, obviously they want to hope for that, but come on. We can all hope for a lot of things.
Okay, so Cloud9 goes 3-3. If T1 improved to 4-2, you could still see a 3-way tie for second. Can you not? This is why I wish we had the. This is why I wish we had the dots, but they're not available yet.
If you add up all of the records of the group at the end stage of the round robin, it adds up to 12-12. So if you have a team that goes 4-2, you can have a 2-way tie at 3-3, requiring 1 tiebreaker game. But then you would have to have another team at 2-4, finishing last place and going home.
That could be Fnatic.
Part of me is thinking you're making some sense, but part of me wants you to explain.
Well, Fnatic choked early in play-ins, right?
Yes.
And then had a strong resurgence. Right now, they're having the strong showing out the gate. Week 2, I feel, is where they're going to choke. So all good things must come to an end, especially in EU.
But so you're saying, okay.
I'm saying Fnatic are going to go.
They would have to go 0-3.
Yes. I'm saying they absolutely shit the bed on Thursday. They have to lose to C9 So there's one loss. It is very possible that they will lose to T1.
Fnatic.
I mean, we
EDG
saw the
is
Fnatic.
a bit of a
We saw the Fnatic T1 game on our Caster Curse day, where it was literally upset game, and it was won by inches, not by miles.
Okay, and with Fnatic and EDG being a coin flip, I can see where you're coming from now.
Fnatic EDG, right? Look at let's break that down for a moment. Right? So Fnatic EDG have already beat Fnatic once. That's why they're 2-1.
Yeah, that was day 3 when we bounced back from the Caster Curse.
Yeah, I mean, I predicted C9 to win and got that wrong, but the both of us got that prediction wrong. We thought Fnatic could sweep it, and EDG are like, oh, yeah, hi, how you doing? I think it is entirely possible and well within the realm of capability. Right?
Yeah, it's within the realm of reason. I'm giving you that.
That Fnatic could entirely choke on Thursday. Because this is week 2 is the test of mental fortitude for these teams.
Yep.
If Cloud9, because let's look at the schedule, right? Where's the damn button schedule? Move over to here. There we go.
Yeah,
let's look at the schedule.
Cloud9 is on.
I mean, I don't even have. I mean, technically, I didn't even have to move this over because we have the games listed in order. But Fnatic and Cloud9 are literally the first game of the day.
3 o'clock Eastern, yes.
My point is, it's the first game of the day. It's the first game for Fnatic. If Fnatic, who is a team who has been shown to be dominant so far in this tournament, walk in the very first game of the day, right? And they get their asses handed to them by Cloud9. Can you imagine the mental breakdown that is going to occur on the side of Fnatic? And then they immediately have to go into playing against T1.
Yeah. If they go 0-1, you might as well say that's 0-2 out of the gate.
If they lose to C9, you might as well just say that Fnatic just choked week 2. That's where I'm going with this. That's where I'm saying you could legitimately see where Cloud9 can have that opportunity and create that opportunity to force that tiebreaker for second.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go to the official rules for this year's tournament. And we're going to talk about group stage and ties. If two teams, let's see, 644 of the world's rules. We'll put that on screen. If two teams are tied after the group stage, head-to-head record will be used as the first tiebreaker. If the two teams have an identical head-to-head record, which would be the case here, 1 win, 1 loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Cloud9 would have to beat EDG to be able to get into that situation to begin with, and EDG have already won. and it's
So they
double
would
round robin. So
they would
only
be
play each
playing
other twice.
So they would be playing a tiebreaker game.
Yep. If the two teams have an identical head-to-head record and the two teams are tied for first or second place in the group, then the teams will play one tiebreaker to determine final standings. No tiebreaker is played if the tiebreaker does not decide either first or second. Side selection in this head-to-head tiebreaker goes to the team with the lower total game victory time. Which, let's be honest, is going to go to EDG.
Yeah, because they won faster.
Yes. Even if Cloud9 somehow manages to miraculously, and I do mean miraculously, pull out a 22-minute and 51-second victory over EDG and tie or beat the shortest game on record for Worlds, which was T1 versus EDG, by the way. Yeah. If we go back to the match list, I can actually pull. I thank you, Game of Legends, as I could pull all of this shit up with no problem here. EDG versus Cloud9. 28 minutes and 31 seconds. So
that's going to be a hard time
to beat. That's the time to beat.
And I don't see C9 winning in 28-30. I don't. I know you don't.
Selection is in favor of Cloud9. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it'll be an uphill challenge. If C9 was on red side, I would say it's impossible. Since C9 is on blue side, I think they may have a chance to wrap it up in 28-30 or less.
Nope. That's too much to ask. That's too much.
Are you playing the old classic pricing game? That's too much.
Yeah, I see the win times getting lower and lower. 52 minutes, 46 minutes, 43-18, 39-25. It's like, all right, but bam. Oh, you're asking them to win in 28-30? That's too much. If you give me 32, 35 minutes, sure, I can see that happening, especially with this blue side meta, as you mentioned. No. I mean, you mentioned from time to time 72 minutes the dream. That would be 28-30 the miracle if that happens.
Now, what I'm wondering is if total game victory time counts for all games in the group. If it does, let's go back and look at a little bit more data here. Cloud9 versus Fnatic the first time around, 32-23. EDG versus Cloud9, 28-31. Cloud9 versus T1, 25 even.
All right. What was that first time again? 32 what?
32-23. Was their loss over Fnatic.
Right. So 32-23, 28-31, that's 60-54. So 85 minutes and 54 seconds.
And then add another 25 minutes even on top of that on their loss to... Oh.
I just said 85 minutes and 54 seconds.
Now let's look at EDG. T1 versus EDG. We've already said this was the fastest game in the tournament so far. 22-51 with an EDG loss.
Okay.
Next EDG game. EDG versus Cloud9. 28-31. And then EDG versus Fnatic was 36-41.
Okay, so the first one was 22.
Sorry, hold on. 22-51. Yep, 22-51.
Okay.
And then the 28-31 again.
So that's 51-22.
And then EDG drew it out against Fnatic to 36-41.
88 minutes and 3 seconds. So Cloud9 currently, as we stand, has an advantage of 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Be damn glad that I can do the math for you.
Now, again, that's if this total game time or total game victory time means total time for all of the games overall. That means Cloud9 has to stay that 2 minutes and whatever ahead of EDG the entire tournament. Or the entirety of Thursday.
So if you sum up
now, if it's just game victory time, then it's going to be Cloud9 has to win in 28 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yes. So basically, no matter how you spell it out, the quicker C9 can win, the better. Just overall. Because with the way this meta is playing, which I emphasize going into the tournament, it's a quicker meta.
Yeah. Now,
and I really wish Riot had clarified that in their rule book.
I'm sure total game victory time means exactly that. The team that won faster over the other.
So yeah, it's 28.
That's how I'm interpreting that.
Somebody
won.
Somebody
if it happens, you know they're going to explain it on broadcast.
I was about to say, somebody tweet Riot, the casters, everybody. Have that ready for tomorrow just in case.
You mean Thursday.
Whatever. You know what I mean.
I love how I got you, like, reinvested into this.
You know how much it is to do modular arithmetic and addition on the fly?
Yes. The only other person I know that can do it is currently fast asleep.
Yeah, so you're welcome.
Hashtag thank your mathematician.
It takes a lot for me to stare at my screen intently while everything swirls around in my head. But yes, so honestly, do it tomorrow anyways, so we have clarification before Thursday. Let that be a thing.
I'll try to get some tweets out, sure. Who the hell is even in charge of League at Worlds these days? That, like, I could actually... Oh, no. I need the button with the music. Where's the button with the music? So we have a update from the LOL Esports Twitter account.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, due to a recently discovered bug, Oriana has been disabled for the 4 worlds until further notice. This is yesterday morning. So before the day got started. By the way, do you like our new generic news music?
I really do. Very well chosen.
It's non-copyright. So, yeah. No Oriana, which, let me go look at the thing here. Oriana is part of our 101 champions. So, I imagine that's probably how they found that bug.
Yeah, it's one of those that they didn't expect they would find.
Ah, yes, the all chat shenanigans.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and lock in predictions for how we figure the remainder of Group A is going to shake out here.
I'm prepared for NA to hate me. I'm saying that here and now.
I am the last copium hope for North America, as I always have been.
Good. Maintain that title.
T9 is going to win, and Fnatic is going to absolutely collapse under the pressure and choke the rest of the day.
I completely disagree.
T1, I still maintain, is going to walk out of this group in second place. Or sorry, in first place. Again, I feel that C9 have the capability to win out 3-0 on Thursday. If anything, I need it for the chaos over EDG. Fnatic versus EDG. Again, Fnatic is going to lose their first 2 back-to-back. They're going to absolutely collapse in mental. Wow. I'm trying to give EU fans opium there, apparently. They're going to collapse under the mental, under their own mental, and EDG will wipe the board with them. EDG's already beat them once in a bit of an upset win. They can do it twice, except this time it won't be an upset win. It'll be a clean win.
Yeah. I think the fact that Fnatic splits, they all have a little bit of hopium of their own, but
T1 versus C9. This is the hardest pill to swallow here. Because realistically, you want to give this to T1, like you just did. But I honestly believe that C9 are going to win out over Fnatic, then they'll win out over EDG, and they'll be like, guys, T1 is free in the usual memeing style. But the point that I make is that will be in a good mental state to be able to take on T1. They've already played them once. They know what they're capable of, right? There's also pretty much the transitive property in action here of, well, T1 beat EDG and we beat them already. And we also beat Fnatic, who also beat T1. So therefore, we could beat T1.
Wait a minute. Time out. I did not just hear you say what you just. For all.
Yes, you did.
You just sat there after everything that I calculated and you dare use the transitive property on top of all of this.
Yes. I thrive in the chaos, baby.
Did you just take some sort of secret injection of Keck unbeknownst to me? This is beyond
Side effects of Giga Cloud9 3 and 3 hypercopium include copious amounts of kecking. See a doctor if kecking lasts more than 24 hours.
Yeah, knowing you, with all of your kecking, you'd end up in the hospital.
EDG versus T1. Again, T1 won at the first go around. I don't anticipate T1 not winning it the second go around. And if my predictions hold up, yes, T1 or C9 has to go to tiebreakers with EDG. But if C9 wins, then my group standings overall actually are 100% accurate.
So if this is the case for mine, C9 would go 1-5.
But so would EDG, which would tie them for third.
Okay.
Which means we would get the half a point. Oh, no. Hold on. Back up. No overriding the start of the group stage predictions. Do a new graph or something. Do a copy paste. Here, I got it.
Oh, all right.
I will fix it.
Because, I mean, what was the point of doing all of this? What, just to show off how much we sucked after week 1?
Yes.
Are you mad just because there was another Hextech sold today?
Yes. Would you like to ask me any more questions that I can answer with yes?
Do you like the idea of pizza fries?
Yes, actually.
Okay. I'm out of questions.
All right, so there's your week 2 box, and there's your overall box. Yeah, you got to scroll down a little. Who the fuck cares? I tried to keep it all on one screen. I did not. Oh, wait a minute. I still can keep it all on one screen. Hold on. Just do this. Ta-da!
Okay, what kind of chaos are you doing?
I'm trying to keep it all on one screen.
Okay.
Bam, all on one screen.
All right, well, let me fix the terrible border core you've got going on.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
I would just, you know, the way that I would have done it was with.
All right, that's about the best I can do. All right, there we go. That's as good as that's going. And the whole thing still fits on one screen, which is good because when I'm talking about it on air, I don't have to fucking flamble and move shit around to be able to see things. Which is why I designed the sheet the way I did in the first place.
This is just some sort of flammery punishment. I can sense this.
You think it's punishment. I'm saying it's keeping it all on one screen. At least for me in my monitor size.
Well,
but I mean, it's all on one screen on the screen share, so there you go.
Yeah, I'm going to do you one better. No, that's doing things a lot worse. That was not what I intended.
What the hell did you do?
Mutter. I'm going to merge cells and create a new thing. Should have gone ahead and accidentally left you on Mars if I had the opportunity.
What would you do? Do the show by yourself?
I mean, I would have it as a. I mean, I would have
enough shows on this network, you know. If you left me on Mars, where would the main disembodied voice of Doom be for point of viewer?
Not Harry would be promoted in your absence?
Not Harry hasn't shown up in a month. Over a month.
He's been dealing with stuff and sleep. You know, that thing we get occasionally.
What is this sleep you speak of?
Exactly. Now, as I was saying...
Side effects of lack of sleep include maximum keckage. Please see a doctor if kecking remains for more than 24 hours. If your kecking is uncomfortable for more than 4 hours, also seek a doctor.
Now, that being said, as
really,
I was
nothing for the Viagra joke.
No, you know what I'm going to do? Just because, and going through all of this,
I'm about to get a Bob Barker, aren't I?
My, aren't you psychic?
No, not psychic. Just very intuitive. All right, so if your predictions hold up, then C9 and EDG will tie for third. Or for 3-4.
Yes.
Technically, if we settle the tiebreaker, EDG, I'm going to say, comes out ahead. Because you're going to give C9 the win tomorrow or Thursday, which means C9 has to beat EDG in 28-31 or less. Or sorry, 28-30 or less. So that magic fucking game all over again. So if Cloud9 win against EDG in 28-30 or less, then on your standings, Cloud9 would be third.
Yeah, no. Did I not just say I don't see them winning that fast?
Yes.
Okay, then.
But I'm actually crunching the statistics and the rule set and everything in my head right now. Because Riot won't settle ties for 3-4. So technically that would be yellow.
Okay.
But if we decide to settle the 3-4 tie using an equivalency in the rule set, which would be the tiebreaker for 1-2, then it would be EDG. Because at 3-4, you get the same prize payout regardless.
I'm aware, yes. But for the sake of this, as I said, I do not see them winning that quickly. And I am already glaring hard at you in technicalities.
I like to be technically correct, the best type of correct. If you need me, I'll be in my chamber of understanding.
I am this close to embodying myself right now.
So if anybody needs you, you'll be in your angry dome. Got it.
Yes.
Really, I'm trying for a monkey here. Nothing? There it is. Ah! Right as I hit the button. All right. Do we want to go ahead and predict the whole week here? I don't think I've ever predicted the whole week out before in advance like this, so I'm going to say no. We've also been on for a while.
That was what I was also going to say. We've been on long
I've been
enough.
on for a while. I've been on for a while. You showed up late.
I've been on for less of a while. Besides, I saw how quick that last game went. So come on now.
I had to stall for time for a little bit afterward, and I was doing post game analysis because that's a thing we do here on this show and on this network. Munner. Can't do the show by myself apparently. Munner. Anyways,
I was half expecting a Craig Ferguson for that. I'm a little disappointed.
Because I have to change up, and then I have to do this, and I have to do that.
You know what I say to that?
I could care less. This is getting weird.
Yeah.
You know what time it is, don't you, Jeff?
Time for us to get out of here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mahalo to your testicles.
It is time for us to say mahalo. As you flip the thing back on me so I lose access to the buttons.
I said a Craig Ferguson. You
not the whole board. Yeah, I know. Anyways, it's time for us to get the hell out of here. This has been Parallel Convergence. That was one coverage. Really quick before we get out of here, give me a stud and dud pick for the week. And no, you can't say North America.
I'm not going to say North America individually, but honestly,
individual or team, but give me a stud and give me a dud real quick before we go.
Yeah,
on the
that's
whole
why I
of
say
week
as a region, I'm not going to go for them as a whole. But for my particular dud, it's definitely C9. I mean, especially number one seed, you were overcoming all of the self-inflicted drama. Now look at what you've done.
I think my dud actually is going to go to Evil Geniuses. Too many situations this week where they were in prime position to win and they end up not capitalizing, or they make a couple of simple mistakes that ended up costing them the game. They played it pretty evenly against GDG, against G2, and against who was the freaking third person that they played? Dang it, why am I blanking? Against Dam1. There we go. I blanked for a moment. Dam1 a little bit more on the crushing side, but Evil Geniuses were pretty well poised to take down JDG. They were pretty well poised to take down G2, and they made capital mistakes, and that's not what you're supposed to be doing at Worlds. Stud picks. Honestly, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Fnatic.
I mean,
actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I actually am going to change that. I'm going to say Rogue.
Because I was going to say
last year we had a Rogue that really underperformed, managed to find themselves in a 4-way tie and couldn't win out on tiebreakers, and ended up departing in, third, fourth place. And I think if you settled the tiebreakers, technically they were in fourth. They've really improved over the past year here, and obviously it is showing, given the fact that they're undefeated over DRX and Top Esports. That should say something.
I mean, I entirely agree. But honestly, I was going to go with your original pick in Fnatic. Yeah, a little bit down. It's like, oh, they've got to go through play-ins, this and that. Well, what did they do? 4-1 in play-ins, and you thought, yeah, even though it was a more stacked play-in tournament than usual, you're still in a somewhat tough group. Now they're 2-1, and to me,
and that one that they dropped was T1, who is
exactly in first. And finally poised, especially in my mind, to go ahead and make it to quarters.
I don't think you're. I have to agree with you. I think Fnatic is definitely looking good. From an individual player perspective, I'm actually very impressed at the Fnatic bot lane. They've definitely shown up. They're they are playing as a cohesive unit. My individual player dud, I would have to give it to Jackie Love. He has gotten caught out just way too many times in general, in these games in their group here.
I'm agreeing with you with Jackie Love, because not just getting caught out way too many times overall, when you're getting caught out so many times, you're costing your team a game. there's got to be a lot of questions answered, and it's like, okay, why are you not getting the memo?
I don't even think it's questions answered. I think, in all honesty, it's an ego check.
Yeah.
Remember, Top Esports was the team that had a lot of hype behind them going into this tournament.
True.
And I think they're kind of getting an ego check right now from some of these upper caliber teams like, DRX and surprisingly Rogue. But I kind of wanted to know what your stud dud was for the week. With that said, we will be back. I don't know what coverage is going to look like on Thursday, or really Thursday, Friday, or really pretty much all of next week. As far as live coverage go, we may be doing day in review coverages late night, or depending on start of broadcast day. I know they're saying 3 p.m. We may go on early, do the first game of the day, and then we'll recap the previous day's group moving forward, just because of my work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But we will definitely figure out our coverage and go from there. But for now, you want to go ahead and take us out of here?
Yeah. All of our Twitters at Not a Network Pods, at Squid Sports Head, at the Andesian, Twitch, twitch.tv/AWP Podcasts. Don't ask, it'll change at some point. Twitch.tv/Andesian. You're welcome. YouTube. Search Not a Network Podcasts. I'll be damned if I know the link for that one, or if we can get shorthand, we'll find that out.
Yeah, well, that'll require some investigating. But hey, for now, I'm Andesian. That's Dr. Manhattan, aka at Squid Sports Head on Twitter. This has been week 1 of 2022 World's Group Stage. This has been Parallel Convergence. We'll see you Thursday.